Hello everybody, delighted to see you all here. As Principal and Vice Chancellor of AUB, I'm especially pleased to welcome the Vice Chairman of BCP Council, Councillor Simon Bull, the Worshipful, the Mayor of Poole and Mayor's Consort, Councillor Joe Clements and Mr John Butterworth, the Worshipful, the Deputy Mayor of Bournemouth, Councillor George Farquhar, the Chief Executive of BCP Council, Graham Farrant, Sir Christopher Chope, MP for Christchurch, Felicity Irwin, Chair of Poole Museum Foundation, Sarah Newman, Director of Russell Coates Museum, Fiona Robinson, President of the Royal West of England Academy, Andy Price, Chief Executive of West Beach Restaurants and a sponsor of student prizes here at AUB, and a warm welcome to all our distinguished guests, not least our exhibiting artist, Ian McKeever, Royal Academician and AUB Honorary Fellow, whose work we are seeing and surrounds us all so elegantly here. And of course, welcome to many, many staff and students. Wonderful to have so many students here who join us at this momentous anniversary this evening. And 25 years is certainly an extraordinary milestone for any organisation, and tonight is a chance to celebrate a quarter century of artistic innovation and cultural enrichment that brings benefit to our students, our staff and our many, many stakeholders with whom we work. What began as a modest single exhibition space has flourished into a dynamic cultural environment boasting 3 permanent exhibition spaces, an extensive campus art collection and an array of off-site events and projects. And it's not just pictures on walls. Throughout the academic year, the gallery hosts a really quite diverse programme of artist talks, panel discussions and many, many engaging events. And those events feature and have featured luminaries such as Zaha Hadid architects, Lucian Jorge Orta, Hugh Locke, Marion Neudecker, Morag Myerscough and many, many more. And if you visit, and I do very, very frequently come around the galleries and look, at any point in the week you will see huge numbers of visiting school children and college students from all over the region who visit to take part in events, and I've seen the team working very closely, enthusing them about everything that the creative arts can be and should be. Beyond the region, the gallery has extended its influence through collaborations with prestigious venues such as the Redfern Gallery in London and Dublin Castle. And in fact, AUB made history, and I only found this out today, by becoming the first gallery outside London to exhibit artworks from the collection gifted to Arts Council England by Charles Saatchi. As many of us know who work here, we owe much of this sustained success over 25 years to Violet McLean and her tirelessly dynamic team, most notably the incorrigible Will Hernandez, but also to the inspirational leadership of my predecessor, Professor Stuart Bartholomew, and the active support, hugely active support of John Last, Emma Hunt, and Jim Hunter, who's here this evening. AUB is rightly proud of the role it plays as a civic university. We achieve that civic role through collaborative projects, through industry and community-related events, but also through our extended campus. 2 years ago, we bought the Palace Court Theatre off Westover Road to help activate Bournemouth Town Centre. And 2 weeks ago, we launched a pop-up store called AUB Makers in the centre of Poole, which sells student and staff work and gives our students real-world experience in enterprise, commerce and young business. Because active collaboration has been a cornerstone of this university and this gallery's success, forging partnership with all the cultural players in this great region. So tonight we launch not just one exhibition, not just 2 exhibitions, but 3. Our poster exhibition in South House, which has been curated by Ed Earle and Hannah Malone, President and Vice President of our Students' Union, which looks into the art of curating. The second exhibition in our North Gallery, which we had a soft launch last week, soft launch, soft drinks and some not so soft drinks, is called Yoke, and that's curated by Rhiannon Evans, Emily Grigg, Harriet Mummery, Tom Preston and Andrew Stacey. We welcome back Ian McKeever, who in 2004, along with David Miller, launched our text and work programme with the Four Quartet Series. And Ian's current exhibition includes a monumental work from the Henge Painting series, together with works on paper and photogravures which examine the parallels and the divergencies that have informed his long-standing engagement with painting. Special thanks, of course, to Violet McLean, to Will Hernandez, Millie Lake, Joe Warren, Eliza Naden, Millie Harvey, Kevin Chambers, Annabelle Bonar, and everyone who helped organise tonight's event. And thank you to Ian McKeever, to his gallery, his supporters, and to all the student ambassadors who are working here tonight to make this event go so smoothly. But above all, I thank every single one of you for joining us on this very special event as we celebrate 25 years of the AUB Gallery.
Well, so much to say, and in a sense, nothing to say. Of course, it's an honour for me to be here yet again after 25 years, particularly at the Gallery's 25th anniversary, and to indeed be making an exhibition at this time. I first made the installation, which is in the upper gallery, against architecture at Matt's Gallery in London, with the help of the curator there, the director there, Robin Klassnik. It's a very different space. It's an old warehouse space, distressed, a history to it, in a sense a building that already has a lot within it. And presenting the work there allowed me to make a kind of work, an installation, given that I'm normally a painter, that I've never made before. At the time I made it, I felt that it had sort of dropped out of the sky. And for a year or two afterwards, I was, in a sense, uncomfortable about what I'd done. The interesting thing about making an installation that is time-based is that you make it, it's up for 3 months, and then it's gone. The piece is literally gone. And unlike a painting where you can go back to it 2 or 3 years later and look, is it a good one, is it a bad one, etc., etc., you can't revisit it. So I was left with this, in a sense, this kind of photographic record, my visual memory of what I thought was against architecture. The opportunity to represent the work 6 years later here at the Arts University Bournemouth is of course special for me. I have to thank Paul, the Vice Chancellor, for helping with the project and indeed for endorsing the project. And a huge thanks to Violet, who has taken on the project and took it on so enthusiastically and has run with the project. When Violet first visited my studio a year and a half ago to discuss the possibility of doing something together, we looked at several possibilities. But as soon as I mentioned the possibility of remaking against architecture, she jumped at it. And she's been running with me with it ever since, and I'm incredibly grateful for it. It's a curious thing to remake a work in a completely different space. Here, it's a fairly clean, white gallery space. At Matt's gallery, there was one entrance, and in a sense, you came in and out of the piece from that direction. Here, there are 4 ways into the gallery. You can come in through the main entrance, you can come in through the corridor that runs between the upper gallery and the lower gallery, or you come into the upper space actually from the lower gallery. This makes for a completely different dynamic. On the first day we started installing the piece, I was curious about how people move through the space. I started the space with lots and lots of 3x4 lengths of timber and lots of 8x4 sheets of plasterboard. We build a wall, we build another one, we build a third wall. At this juncture, we're just building the stud walling. I change my mind, we take one down, we build a different kind of wall. And so the piece grows incrementally as I feel I'm reacting to the space. In that way, making the structure is very much analogous to making a work of art. One is just thinking it through as one goes along. Strange to see the piece again. It's as if I have to get to know it all over again, and yet it's in a totally different space. So it's got a totally different life to it. Quite what that means and how that works, I have to figure out. But that's part of making work, that you spend a lot of time doing something you don't quite understand, to then spend a lot more time trying to work through how you think it really works and what's really happening. Does it succeed? What are its strong points? What are its weak points? And so now that process begins for me again. Whether or not there will ever be a third manifestation of the piece, I don't know. Let's wait and see. We will make a publication for the to record the piece, which will document both the first presentation at Matt's Gallery and the one here at the Arts University Bournemouth. Millie Harvey from the, I think it's Architecture and Interior Architecture, made a very interesting interview with me which will go into the publication, as did Eliza Martin from the photography department. Eliza has also taken the installation shots of the work in situ, which is great. They're looking good already, sorry, Eliza. And Joe Barron is in the process of designing the publication. To make the piece in an educational institution is itself interesting. It raises questions about the open-endedness of education itself and the nature of making work. How does that collide? How does it go together? So for me to do it here is a special pleasure, in that I feel I've been involved in a process of making which is open-ended, in which I'm not sure quite what I've done or what it's about. And I hope that something of that the students can take away from this piece. That the making of work is not actually about coming up with something which is definitively right or definitively wrong, or which you fully understand, but that you're just speculating and hypothesizing about where something could go, and that you accept the vulnerability of that position. I'm often asked about the title Against Architecture. It's really quite simple. The word against, as something leans against a wall, so the small painted and photographic panels lean against or are against the walls of the plasterboard structure. And then the other meaning of against, to be in opposition to something, and the dialectic between those two meanings. And then there is the word architecture. Well, I think that's a very long and another story. Thank you.
I'm Ed and I'm from the Students' Union, and I shall have a few words to say. As a Students' Union, we often get the privilege to see many aspects of students' lives. One area which has become increasingly important to us is the incredible collective talent in craftsmanship. We see this demonstrated at end-of-year celebrations, through social media, through the Bug, which we'd really like to thank Violet and the team for helping us elevate this year, and of course throughout and beyond this campus. We envision a campus where no blank wall exists, a place where around each corner is a piece of work created by a member of the growing AUB community. Rooms being used for performance, movement and direction, all of which requires collaboration, creativity and passion, and a community which bridges the gap between higher education and the local community through the creative arts. These are all things of which the Gallery has been making possible for the last 25 years. On behalf of the students, we'd like to thank the Gallery for providing a dedicated environment at the centre of AUB to, in their words, shape, build, learn, share, provoke and collaborate. Thank you for inspiring the young minds of artists, makers, directors, performers, and the list goes on. And thank you for bringing the world of national and international art to our home here in Bournemouth. Thank you. And we'll now hand over to Violet, the Gallery curator.
Good evening everyone, and I'm delighted to welcome you all here this evening, and I echo the warm welcomes to my colleagues and the thank yous by Professor Paul Goff. I would like to especially thank Ian McKeever for giving us this incredible opportunity to work with him again, to host this exhibition. I would also like to thank Galinda for working with us on the project. We have a little something for Ian and Galinda, so Will.
Okay, that's very sweet of you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I was working with Ian and Ian said, Will, can I have a pencil? I said, yes. He back again to me, Will, can I have a pencil? I said, okay, something all right. Will, can I have a pencil? But later, I came see Ian, he go, one here, two in his pocket. I said, Ian, you got all my pencils around. And today, I would like to give you this present. For you. Thank you. Look, how many you have here? Too many.
Ian, we especially commissioned a dance piece for you tonight, as you said you like contemporary dance. And you also said you like jazz too. So two art forms that you enjoy are here for you tonight, in your honour. Thanks to Andy Price and his wife Tony, owners of Tandy Sandbanks and Westbeach, for supporting and endorsing our event tonight. I'd also like to formally thank Professor Paul Goff, William Hernandez, Millie Lake, Joseph Warren, Kevin Chambers, Eliza Nedden, Millie Harvey, David Lund, and Vanessa Collingridge for sharing the same passion and drive as I have for this gallery, and for their continuing support and hard work. So thank you. We have worked with hundreds of artists, designers, curators, and external partners, students and staff. We have done a lot in the last 25 years, so thank you all very much. We've hosted and mentored hundreds of students as part of our intern and volunteers work placement and young professional program in the gallery over the last 25 years. Many of them are now working as curators, gallery managers, gallery education coordinators, gallery directors in some of the world's most established art institutions, to include Tate Modern, the National Trust, Whitechapel, British Museum, the gallery here at AUB, and Hauser and Wirth London, naming only a few. The gallery has been a safe place for those individuals. We have helped them on their journey into the art world. I am so proud of each and every one of them. I want to thank them personally and professionally for their commitment, their long hours and hard work to this gallery, for without them, we would not be this far in our journey, so thank you. Setting up the programme was one of my proudest achievements. I have many, but this one stands out. William Hernandez and Millie Lake have been part of this programme, and I'm delighted to say, in addition to our degree in art events management, we are also launching 2 new degrees this October in curation and exhibition and experience design and creative direction. I believe that art changes lives and makes the world go round. The UK's highly respected arts cultural industry brings in more than 10 billion to the UK economy per year. Graduates from this university add to that workforce and figure. Creative industries is a money-making machine for all. I believe in everything that this university stands for. I'm a proud alumnus from AUB. I've been asked on many occasions, what inspires and drives you, Violet? My answer is you, everyone in this room. Life, art, artists. Curating and making things happen make me happy. Teaching and sharing my knowledge inspires me. I've been recently asked why curating and galleries. Like the students here tonight, I had a dream too. It was to work in the arts. I'm lucky enough to be doing it right now. I didn't have a gallery at university when I was a student. I didn't even have art at school. But I found a way to educate myself. After that, I made a promise to myself. If I was in a position in the art world, I would give back and dedicate my life in service to the arts. We all have to start somewhere. In every story, there is a hero. My story is no different. I have 2 heroes. They believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. They pushed me forward when I wanted to stand still. They gave me the strength beyond words. They taught me to do everything with a pure heart and treat others how I wanted to be treated and stand up for myself. They told me to follow my dreams no matter what and be happy. They told me to never let anyone dull your light and downplay your passion, Violet. They said you have a creative gift shared with the world. For without them, I would not be the woman and curator I am today. I'd more than likely not be standing here in front of you right now. They started with me on this 25-year journey, but unfortunately were unable to finish it with me. My heroes are the late Charles Henry and Violet Marshallina McLean. Yes, my parents, and yes, I was named after my mother. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are launching our support page, and I invite you to donate to our gallery and to be the heroes of this gallery for the next 25 years and beyond. We have a flyer that gives you information about donating, and my colleagues are on the donation desk. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, be the heroes of our gallery. Thank you.